Watch this penguin's eyes. 3, 2, 1. It just fell asleep. And it's awake. That was 4 seconds. That's not a blink. That was a full nap. Real sleep.
We made it.
Brain
We're
offline,
here.
then back on. And this penguin will do that 10,000 more times before the day is over. This is a chinstrap penguin, named for the thin black line under its chin that makes it look like it's wearing a tiny helmet. They live on the volcanic islands around Antarctica in colonies of over 100,000 birds. And right now, while you've been watching this video, this penguin has already fallen asleep. 3 times. You didn't notice. Nobody does. Because each nap lasts just 4 seconds on average. But here's the part that made scientists question everything they knew about sleep. Those 4-second naps, they add up to over 11 hours of sleep per day. This penguin sleeps more than you do. It just almost never sleeps for more than 10 seconds at a time. So why? Why would any animal shatter its sleep into 10,000 pieces? Because for a nesting chinstrap penguin, closing your eyes is a death sentence. For your babies, this is a brown skua, the penguin's worst nightmare. It patrols the colony from above, waiting for one parent to look away for just a moment. 1 moment. That's all it takes. In less than 2 seconds, it can dive in, snatch an egg, and disappear. Gone. But the skua isn't even the biggest threat. The biggest threat is the penguin sitting right next to you. Chinstrap colonies are war zones. Neighbors steal rocks from each other's nests constantly. They peck. They fight. A neighbor's egg can get destroyed in the chaos, and no one stops to care. Every nesting penguin is surrounded by enemies on all sides. So the question isn't, why don't they sleep? The question is, how do they sleep at all? The answer is one of the most extraordinary adaptations ever recorded. Chinstrap penguins have evolved the ability to sleep with half their brain at a time. It's called unihemispheric sleep. One half of the brain shuts down, the other half stays fully alert. One eye closes, the other stays open, watching for skuas, watching for nest thieves. But here's where it gets truly insane. They don't even do that for very long. Most of these microsleeps involve both hemispheres shutting down simultaneously, full bilateral sleep, but only for about 4 seconds. Then the brain snaps back online. Think about that. Their brain shuts down completely, restarts, shuts down, restarts, over and over, 10,000 times. Every single day. No animal on Earth sleeps like this. Dolphins sleep one hemisphere at a time, but they do it for hours. These penguins do it for seconds. Scientists didn't even know this was possible until they put electrodes inside their heads. In 2023, a team of researchers did something no one had ever done before. They went to King George Island, one of the largest chinstrap colonies on Earth, and they implanted EEG electrodes into the skulls of 14 wild nesting penguins. Real electrodes, measuring real brain activity, 24 hours a day. What they found broke sleep science. These penguins were falling asleep over 10,000 times per day. Each episode averaged just 4 seconds. 75% of all their sleep came in bursts shorter than 10 seconds. The data looked like noise, like the equipment was malfunctioning. But it wasn't. This is just how they sleep. And the most shocking part, it was working. These penguins were getting over 11 hours of total sleep per day. They were raising healthy chicks. They were functioning perfectly on 4-second naps. For decades, scientists believed sleep had to come in long, uninterrupted blocks to be restorative. 8 hours, or at least a few hours at a time. The chinstrap penguin just demolished that theory. An Oxford University sleep researcher described what's happening in these colonies as something no one predicted. The sleep is accumulating. Thousands of fragments, each too short to even register as rest, somehow adding up to a full night's sleep. And the penguins are completely functional. They're incubating eggs successfully. They're defending nests. They're feeding chicks. Their bodies are working. The implications are fascinating. For chinstrap penguins, this works. Their brains evolved specifically for this. Millions of years of pressure from predators and hostile neighbors shaped a sleep system unlike anything else on Earth. Humans can't do this. Our brains need long, uninterrupted cycles to enter deep sleep and REM. But what these penguins proved is that sleep itself is far more flexible than scientists ever imagined. There isn't one way to sleep. There might be thousands, and we've only just started looking. Step back and look at this colony as a whole. Thousands of penguins. Every single one microsleeping thousands of times per day. At any given moment, some are asleep and some are awake, and it's constantly shifting. But which ones? It changes every 4 seconds. The colony never fully sleeps. It never fully wakes. It exists in a permanent state of in between. One researcher called it the biological equivalent of blinking. Not sleeping and waking, just flickering. Always flickering. And the thing that amazes me most, it's working. Chinstrap penguins are one of the most abundant penguin species on Earth. Over 8 million of them. 8 million penguins that have figured out how to be asleep and awake at the same time for millions of years. And we only confirmed it in 2023. Scientists suspected penguins napped briefly, but no one knew it was this extreme, or that it actually worked, until they wired their brains and looked at the data. So the next time you doze off for 2 seconds in a meeting, or nod off on the train, or blink a little too long at your desk, just know there's a penguin on a volcanic rock in Antarctica that's doing that 10,000 times a day. And somehow, it's winning. If you want to see another impossible penguin survival story, watch this one. It's about an emperor penguin that doesn't eat for 115 days. I'll put it right here. And if this video taught you something you didn't know, hit subscribe. We make these every week. See you in the next one.